Don't trust anyone. Life is full of fake-ass people who don't care about you, who say they do, but their actions show you who they are. Sit back and watch. How do you figure this out? Because when you need them, they're nowhere to be found. And that does hurt when you do for others and they're not there for you. Remember that hurt. Let that hurt help you grow and evolve. What it should do is teach you to trust yourself, your own instincts, the people around you that love you. Keep your heart safe and let the real people prove they deserve a place in your life.
Do we all have frenemies, and how do we spot frenemies?
In the Laws of Human Nature and in several of my books, I talk about the phenomenon of envy, which is a very, very powerful human trait. It has roots, very ancient roots. We know that in hunter-gatherer societies, envy was a real problem. And so they create all kinds of rituals to avoid envy. The moment somebody in a tribe received a gift, they had to give it to other members so they wouldn't face envy. Because facing envy, you could be murdered for it. So you learned all of these rituals. First of all, we all feel envy. We're all comparing ourselves to other people. I feel it all the time. We all feel small degrees of envy. But there are people, I call it passive envy, but active envy means people act on it. They do something to hurt you. They sabotage you in some way. Frenemies are the classic scenario. So somebody who feels envious of you ends up befriending you. And consciously, they may not be even aware of that. They think, well, I do want to like them, but unconsciously they feel envy. They think that you have success that you don't necessarily deserve, that you have what they want, right? They become your friend. And then lo and behold, you start noticing all kinds of behavior that's very ugly, that you weren't expecting because they're your friend. They start saying bitchy comments that get under your skin, that make you feel insecure. They take things from you. They act in ways that are hurtful. But because they're your friend, your first instinct is to blame yourself. Well, maybe it's my fault that they've done this. Maybe I'm actually to blame for what they're saying, etc., etc. So I believe behind the frenemies phenomenon is this phenomena of envy, where the person secretly wants what you have and they're becoming your friend so that they can wound you. And what's best to do is to recognize that.
Love is living on valued energy. But what does that truly mean? It means to value the energy behind the images of life, right? The way how a flower grows. Most people, they see the beauty in the moment. They see the beauty of the flower. And from seeing this beauty, they pick the flower, not realizing that they've caused a disturbance within the growth of that flower. That flower is a metaphor for your love, your passion, your interests, and your drive, the energy that fuels your life form. I learned that you have to protect this energy because there's people that unknowingly or knowingly, I don't know, it doesn't matter, they do it either way, they drain your energy. In Buddhism, they call this behavior Tanapali, which means cravings, desires, longing, thirst. I know you might be wondering, what does this have to do with fake friends? Well, you see, many people lack self-control, and it's because they don't value the process of self-development. They chase the pleasures of life. They have cravings for happiness. Because this is the thing, when you propose these types of ideologies, people think that you're against wanting to be happy. It's not that. Happiness is a fleeting emotion. It's just a chemical reaction in the brain that comes and goes in moments in life, right? But what is the consistent factor throughout your whole life? What are you going through on a day-to-day? You're not happy all the time. You can't be happy all the time or else you'll be insane, bro. That's insanity. But there's people who chase this. They chase this fleeting emotion constantly all the time and ending up in self-destructive predicaments. Now, when you associate with these types of people, their nature is automatic. They don't think of what they do because they don't spend the time to reflect. They don't think about, how what they do affects other people. They only think about what they do affects themselves. And so their nature is that of a scorpion, right? Like the scorpion and the frog.
Excuse me, frog. Can you help me get across the river? I could ride on your back.
Oh, but you're a scorpion. You sting me.
No, we'd both drown. Why would I do that?
Okay. What the f***?
It's in my nature.
You
You shot me.
blowing your brains out is my nature.
There are people in life that are known as narcissists, and it comes from the Greek folklore Narcissimo, the story of a man who loved himself so much, he loved his image so much that he looked at his reflection in a river and he tried to kiss himself and he drowned. A lot of people in society have become narcissists. They fell in love with their own images. They fell in love with imagery. People that act upon their envy, whenever they see an image that shines brighter than their own, they hate. They hate on it. They hate the fact that they're not that.
Hate us because they ain't us.
Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us.
Are we looking for hidden enemies here? Are we looking for people to show their true colors?
The point is to have access to information about what's really going on behind the facade, the mask people are wearing. And that might be totally benign. It might be that they do like you. It might be that they're not as interested in you as you think they are. But that doesn't mean they're going to go out and harm you in some way. It just means you think they're excited by your idea, but they're not really so excited.
Bobby places the judgment of his value as a comedian only within himself, but Bert places the judgment of his value as a comedian into the hands of the world. Which one do you think is going to be more sustainable?
You're everyone's favorite comic and you've never done a special.
So?
I know, but don't you want to do specials?
No.
Why not?
Why?
When Bert says, "Don't you want to do specials?" he's indirectly asking Bobby, "Don't you want to be considered a high-level comedian in the eyes of the public?" And Bobby gladly says no. And by saying no, he is indirectly saying no because it is not the public who decides that I am a high-level comedian. It is me and my intimate audience who decides that. This is so fascinating because we have the collision of two separate psychological motivations and lifestyles. We reach a momentary impasse because neither one can understand the other at first. It is here that we realize that yes, they are both comedians, but for two separate reasons.
Narcissists are extrinsically motivated. They are motivated by the validation of the world and by the opinions of others. And so they try their hardest to shape and mold what other people think of them. So when it comes to a narcissist relationship, they don't seek to develop a true connection with the person they're in a relationship with. They're only seeking the image out of things. See, those two comedians, they have the same path in life, as in they have the same career choices where they chose to be comedians, but they are motivated by different means, right? One is motivated by the actual passion and the craft of what they're doing. And the other one is motivated by the opinions of other people, the crowd, yeah, they want to hear the applause and the people chanting their names and stuff. They want the image of success, all while skipping the process. They don't do their due diligence to develop themselves to handle or manage life. That's what truly happens to people. They want to be on the throne. They want to have the crown. They want to be the king. They want to be God. And then once they obtain some level of this, power, they destroy themselves because they never knew how to manage themselves in the first place. And that's how they are in relationships. They destroy relationships. They try to invoke chaos because that is of their nature. I had to leave a lot of people in the past because of this. I don't have time to spend with people on this planet with the finite time and energy that I have and squander it with people that take life for granted, that take people for granted, that take energy for granted.
Times you just have to tell people, look, I love you and I'll probably always love you, but I'm no longer interested in the level of life you have to offer me. Because of that, I simply gotta let you go. I'm not even asking you to change. You can keep doing what you're doing exactly, whatever you wanna do, how you wanna do it. You just can't do it with me anymore, straight up.
That's it for this video. Like if you dislike, dislike if you dislike, and I'll catch you on the next one. Namaste, my friends.